Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Live in Conversation. I am your host, Daphnée René Antoine, with my lovely co-host, attorney Daphnée Camilien of Camilien Law. Hello, attorney Camilien. How's it going?
Good, good. How's it going?
I am great. It's good to be back. I know we took a little, what would you call it? A pause,
Hiatus. Right.
but we are back,
Yep.
live in conversation, discussing topic of the day, immigration news, as well as financial literacy aspect, maybe a wealth segment, to share resources and knowledge to help all of us thrive in our journey. So I'm gonna have you start with a disclosure. Um,
Yeah, just that. Um, I'll start off by saying, well, two things. Start off by saying that we are. I'm an attorney. Um, Daphnée René is a financial wealth advisor, or I always say it wrong, right? So
I share resources.
right, resource. And so basically, if you want to reach out to us privately, you can. But anything we say in today's podcast is for information purposes only. It's not to establish any type of relationship, one-on-one relationship. And so just take that for entertainment and for information purposes only.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I was scrolling as well on the ticker below. So, with that being said, the way Life in Conversation works is we start with a topic of the day, and then we have a legal or immigration segment, and then we also have a wealth segment as well to share resources that can help us thrive in our financial journey. So our topic of the day is Bill Cosby is a free man. Okay, so I'm gonna have Attorney Chameleon talk to us a little bit how that came about, maybe a little bit of the background and story, as well as this news of Bill Cosby being a free man as of today.
Yeah, so most people, and before I even start, my name is spelled wrong on here. That
Oh,
auto correct my.
I can fix it for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my first name is spelled wrong, so it's okay. I just noticed it because I wasn't paying attention, and I was just like, "Oh, that autocorrect will get you." But
Hmm.
so the
It's
cog,
not letting me fix it for some reason. I used to
that's
have
okay.
that privilege.
So that's okay. I'll be Daphne with one E today.
Oh.
So basically, for those, most people know that Bill Cosby was convicted of all type of sex crimes a couple years ago, and he's been in prison since then. And he was appealing his case on based on the fact that so he was appealing. One of the reasons he and how I'll maybe explain why how he got off. He got, or I should say, how his case was over. The verdict was overturned
Done.
because when initially he was sued civilly, right? So if you're sued civilly is not criminal. It's the outcome for civil cases is tends to be not always, but in this particular circumstance tends to be money, right? So he was sued for money, and when he was sued for money, he had to testify. So it's everybody's right when you have to testify, if you don't want to incriminate yourself, to plead the fifth. But the prosecutors made a deal with him and said, if you testify and you don't plead the fifth, we will not prosecute you in a criminal proceeding. In criminal proceedings, the outcome is prison, jail, some type of, freedom taken away, or even probation, whatever. But it's some type of, and it's a criminal, conviction on your record. And so they said, and that would be like the major difference between civil and criminal. So he agreed, and he testified, and he said that he based his testimony. He had the good faith that the prosecutors were not going to prosecute him. That's what he understood. His attorneys explained it to him. That's what he understood. The prosecutors talked to him. That's what he understood. And so when he testified, that civil case was over. Now the prosecutors turned around and used
say,
prosecuted him
even though I
criminal case. And the criminal case, once again, remember I said the outcome is prison time. And so he was like, what about our deal? And typically, if the deal wasn't there, and if he didn't have a deal and he still testified, they can use his testimony, right? If he didn't have a deal in place and he testified in his civil case, in a criminal case, it could be used against him. But in this case, he deliberately did not invoke his Fifth Amendment right to keep it silent and to not incriminate himself. And because of that reason, that's what he was relying on. He testified. So long story short is that they went and said, well, that wasn't fair that he was prosecuted because he had this deal. This is something that happens. This happens, right? This is not something that's so outrageous to be given some type of deal. What's strange is that they decided to prosecute him anyway. So he went on his appeal based on that fact. And the courts, when he went up against his appeal, agreed with Bill Cosby's attorneys that he should have never been prosecuted in the first place because they should not have been able to use the evidence that they used in the civil case against him in the criminal case. And that's what they did. And that's what got him convicted. So his verdict was overturned and you saw he was freed. So, and then everybody has an opinion now. Good, bad, or ugly.
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, my question is, I'm not sure, maybe if you know that or if you know this or not, but then, so was a civil case in regards to the same, I guess, the same situation and with the criminal case?
Yes, it was the same lady.
It was the same lady. So what I'm hearing is that she went with a civil case first,
right?
And then based on the information that was, I guess, received from the civil case, then he got criminally prosecuted.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Okay, and, like you said, I'm sure a lot of people may have different opinion about this. At the end of the day, there is a legal aspect when it comes to the law, and then there's also moral aspect as well.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody obviously have the right to their own opinion, but obviously as an attorney, the way for you to process things is, was it fair based on the guidelines of the laws? And then so what the Pennsylvania Supreme Court is saying is that no, he did not get a fair trial, and therefore they're going to overturn the conviction.
Right. And that's correct. And if you look at it, so it wasn't looked upon guilty or innocent. It was looked upon. I think it's more than a technicality, because technicality, since it's always one little thing. This was pretty huge. They used their case on this, right? It wasn't one little slim thing. They used their case on this, and so and they probably would not have had a case if he hadn't testified. So, yeah, legally based off of the reports, right? I mean, I wasn't there. I wasn't privy to any of this stuff. So, but based off of the reports, what they did, they made a deal and then they didn't follow through.
They didn't honor it.
They didn't honor, and then they based their case off of it, and you can't do that.
I wonder why did he go to run a civil trial first before a criminal procedure?
Strategy. That was probably exactly why. So the other flip side is, if you remember OJ's case, right, back in the day, or hearing about OJ Simpson and how he was because
first he was prosecuted criminally, right?
He was prosecuted criminally. He was found not guilty, but the burden of proof is different for criminal cases. Like when they talk about reasonable doubt and things of that nature. So he got not guilty, but then the family still sued him civilly. But because it's a lesser burden, right? He was in. I don't remember if he ended up settling or he had to pay. I know a verdict was against him. So I don't know if they just found a verdict or he paid or he just settled. But regardless, it was against him. And so, but they can use what was said in the criminal case in the civil case.
Yes.
Right. And so that's and they base it. So I don't know exactly, but I would imagine outside looking in, criminal case was weak, right? Civil case was a stronger possibility. and something that was there. So they went for the civil, and it was strategy, because I don't think they would have had anything if they wouldn't have had enough maybe to convict him if they would have just did him straight up. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know all the ins and outs of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So at the end of the day, obviously this should be a nation of law, and it should be fair trial. It should be everybody getting justice. And I do remember reading an article where he was denying parole because he refuses to participate in any, I guess, remorse and any. I think they wanted him to do. Again, this is just vague memory. I think they wanted him to do maybe like sexual assault kind of, not therapy, but then like a some session that he refused to partake in because he said that he did not do that. He maintained his innocence, and then therefore he was willing to stay in prison the whole 10 years without admitting that he was guilty. And then so I feel like him wanting to prove his innocence was important to him. So do you think that's gonna hinder that, or is that gonna help that?
I think
His case being overturned.
right. I think for sure it's going to. I mean, so some people will look at it and say, "Well, it was overturned, not based. They're not saying that you're innocent.
Yes,
They're just
exactly.
saying that the way this was done was mishandled,
Exactly.
and it was, they violated. He still has rights.
Yes.
Good, bad, or ugly. He still has rights, whatever people's opinions of it is. So and it was violated. And so if we're going to be fair, we have to be fair to everybody across the board. So you'll have people arguing and saying, well, this doesn't vindicate him. And then other people will say it does vindicate him. I think I just think that people are going to have their opinion both ways. I think that's what I'll say.
Yeah. I think I had one last question. Oh yeah, and then so in regards to one article that I read, they said that it said that I guess the accuser was not aware that a deal was made to forego prosecution. And then so what is your opinion about that? In
Yeah,
respect to now being released based on a promise that the prosecutor made without the, I guess, knowledge of the accuser.
right. I think they should have informed her, um, you know, of it, because at the end of the day, however people would think about, what, her belief or not belief, what happens, it's traumatizing for anybody to testify in court, especially to these type of things. And if she had to testify in a civil case and then turn around and testify in a criminal case, it's like reliving trauma. And
Mhm.
If I'm sure she would have, maybe she would have approached it differently. Maybe she would, because ultimately, as far as the state is the one that can pursue the state is in charge of whether, well, to a certain extent in charge of, but they are in charge of whether to prosecute, right? It's
Mhm.
not us who can say we're going to prosecute someone. So if in her civil case, if maybe she wouldn't have done the civil case, maybe she would have dropped the civil case and then said, let's go after him criminally, and see if the state would be willing to do that, and then later pursue a civil case. Who knows if she knew that he had this deal, that
Mm.
that's a big factor. They should have informed her. That's a big factor.
Yeah.
That would make her think, well, am I going to keep doing this over and over and over again, and is that a risk? That wasn't fair to her.
Yeah. So we got one comment. I don't really understand what it says. It says pudding pops matter.
Oh, because he's the Jello pudding, or the pudding man. Bill Cosby, he used to have the Jello. So they're
Okay.
saying, instead of, I guess, women matter or whatever, they're saying he matters too.
Oh, okay. So this is a comment from Freddie Silver. Hello. Oh, look at that plantain. Don't have me be hungry now. Sweet plantains. I love sweet plantains. Hello, Freddie. Thanks for your comment. I don't really understand what he meant.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's known as the Jello pudding pop. He used to have all those commercials in the '90s, maybe early '90s.
Mm, yeah, I came in the 2000s, so yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
was not familiar with that. Well, so I guess that's it for the segment. I hope everyone on both sides is satisfied. And obviously, sexual assault is a um,
The serious matter.
yeah, it's a serious matter. It is a serious matter, and we are, but at the same time, we want to ensure that people who commit sexual assault crime, uh, they, I mean, they are held responsible, but at the same time, we don't want to have people who either did not do something to be held responsible for it. And then, so therefore, we want justice to be justice. Okay, so it shouldn't be justice for one person because of maybe the status, maybe what they are in society, but then we want it to be somewhere where everybody can feel comfortable to share their stories, but at the same time telling the truth so that people who are responsible get what they deserve, and people who are innocent maintain the innocence. I think that's all I want to say in regards to that. Anything you want to add, Attorney Chameleon, before we move to the legal or immigration segment?
No, I think you covered it.
Yeah, I'm sure his family is happy that he's home, and so are his fans, and hopefully, everybody is satisfied with the outcome.
Yeah.
So let's go to the legal immigration. I call it legal.
Yeah.
Legal segment, immigration segment, because you practice more than just immigration law, and so
Right.
people should know that if they're not like in the if they don't need immigration. Hello, Miss Nivos. She always here giving us some support. We love you. Appreciate the support. Hello. Yeah. So people should know that you don't just practice immigration law. And so
Right.
that's why I put it now legal and immigration segment. So
Oh,
I'm gonna give you a solo layout
okay. Yeah.
and
So it,
you.
yeah. So um, it's we'll be brief tonight. It's basically last time I spoke was probably 3 weeks ago, and it was about TPS. And TPS had been, which is temporary protected status, it had been granted to Haiti. Backstory is that under the past administration, it ended, but under this current administration, they have reinstated TPS, right? So TPS has been reinstated to people who are coming from Haiti who are already in the United States. You have to apply for. You're eligible for TPS. Now you have to know what the guidelines are. What are the first guideline that they said is that you have to be in the country as of, I think it was May 24th, 2021. If you were in the country, that was one criteria. There are other criteria to see if people actually qualify for TPS. We're just waiting for that. We're waiting for those criteria guidelines to tell us what, so people will actually know if they fully qualify. So that hasn't been released yet. We're over a little bit over a month yet. So I'm constantly checking. So if by next week, if it's released, I will definitely talk about it and then kind of give people a heads up. If I was, people can look at the old guidelines to kind of give you some some idea as to what they're going to be asking for. People can start, gathering their paperwork, knowing where their passport, is, or, finding out what their entry date was into the U.S., things of that nature, to kind of help them to figure out, if they need to fill out the application. They can go to USCIS.gov. So it's USCIS.gov. And look for the application. You can, in the search box, you can put the actual TPS and see if you want to see what an application looks like. So just to kind of get people prepared and start looking into it. The other thing is that the some people may or may not know the current Biden administration is trying to trying to get a, I think it's a bipartisan infrastructure deal. And what does that have to do with immigration? Well, they're trying to also put an immigration bill within this whole deal, right? So they're trying to put a bill that would give people, undocumented people who are in the United States, a pathway to citizenship. Once again, if that was to come to a head, if that was to occur, there would be guidelines and criteria, but that has to be voted on by the House and the Senate, and then the president will have to sign it into a law. So we don't know if that's going to happen. We don't know. A lot of times these bills are big, so they may have like a pathway to citizenship for everybody who's undocumented, overstay, whatever. But then by the time the House and the Senate get to it, they may chip at it. And so the people who qualify then are possibly, people who are DACA kids, or people who are TPS or migrant workers, or we don't know yet. So just be on the lookout. But right now, that's one of the things that's being talked about is this whole immigration bill and pathway to people who are undocumented. Remember, undocumented tends to mean people who are overstay and people who came into the United States without inspection. They didn't come with a visa or anything like that. They didn't come with it, and that's what it means without inspection. So we're just going to stay tuned for that as well. And then my immigration tip of the day. I'm not sure if I said this before because it's been a couple weeks, but whenever someone has, whether you're working with an attorney or you're doing your immigration filings on your own, you always have to keep copies of your records. And you should understand that, and the importance of that is that, something that you do, immigration tends to take a long time, and something that you do, and in immigration, so I say it takes a long time. It can take, and you may do multiple things with immigration. So giving you an example, if you're in your home country and you get a visitor visa to come to the U.S. in 2019, you come to the U.S., you go back and forth. A couple years later, you meet someone, so that person sends for you. Let's say it's 2025, they send for you. By the time you get married, they fill papers for you. You're in the U.S., you're sitting in front of an interview to get your green card. Your original application that you filled out in 2019 for your visitor visa, they can ask you stuff from there. So if you do stuff with immigration, understand that there's a file and it's kept. So I would just keep all your paperwork because I don't know what I did 5 years ago. I don't remember. So if I was going to sit down for an interview, I would just have all my papers that I've ever had contact with and just kind of glance it over so that if they ask you a question, you'll remember. And that's all it is, just so you'll have, you'll feel sure of yourself and you'll have confidence if you just remember, and it's all information about yourself, but still, if you moved a lot, you don't remember your address from 5 years ago, or you traveled and they asked you about some location that you went to, anything is fair game with immigration. So that's just my tip of the day, is to keep a file. Keep your file, because they have a file of everything you've ever done. So you should have a file. Immigration has a file of everything you've ever done with them. So you should have a file of everything, anything and everything you've ever done with immigration. You keep your own file. So, and that's my immigration segment of the day today. Oh, you're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney Camilien, for this amazing information, for sharing your knowledge with the community and giving people access to information that they may not know of. So appreciate that. Attorney Camilien can be reached at 847-410-9022. Again, that's 847-410-9022. Obviously, she was very generous with the information that she shared today. However, if you need a little more hands-on help, and you want somebody in your corner who can help you navigate the complexities of the US immigration system, which I would do her. So now I'm just gonna do a quick wealth segment where I'm just gonna share one resource with you all as we are going to the third quarter of the year, and we are closing the first half of the year. Yeah, June is over, y'all. So
Uh,
let's talk about what does that mean for us,
I'm getting old, tired. That's what it means.
right?
I'm yawning. I can't believe a half a year is gone.
Yes, and
Wow.
I'm gonna leave it like this. Because half a year is gone, we are we are phasing out of the whole corona kind
Mm-hmm.
of virus thing. So for those of us, I'm gonna give you that question. For those, I mean, I took the vaccine, so I don't know your anybody else opinion about the vaccine. I took it, and as a matter of fact, Illinois is doing a lottery. Did you hear that?
No, for
So
vaccine.
for the vaccine. So anybody who took the vaccine, I think before July 1st, I think it was before July 1st, they're having a lottery. Everybody's name is going in there.
Oh,
Yes.
how much can people win?
So there's three $1 million prize. Yes, there's three 1 million, and then
Wow.
there's 40 what do you call it? Maybe 100,000, I don't remember. That's
Mm.
funny. So if yeah, I think there's still time to take the vaccine if that's anybody's motivation, because they're trying to have people get vaccinated so the country can go back to business as normal. And as a matter of fact, because children, I believe 12 and up,
Right.
can get the vaccine, they actually having a separate lottery for them, but it's scholarship. It's like
Mm.
I believe it's like $300,000 scholarship or $100,000 scholarship. But
Wow.
yeah, uh, I'm on the what do you call it? The alderman's list, so I always get those
Yeah.
newsletters.
No,
That's
that's
how I took the vaccine. Yeah, I had already took the vaccine before I knew of the lottery.
but you would still be entered because it was before July
Yes,
1st.
exactly. Everybody who took it from the beginning, um, once obviously they started uh, giving it
Mm-hmm.
till July 1st. But I think the first drawing is gonna be July 5th, I believe. But then they're gonna have it continuously until maybe August. I was
Wow.
trying to look up the newsletter so I can share it with you all. I thought that was pretty interesting.
That is
What's
very
your opinion about
that's
that?
very interesting. People gonna be. I hope I don't remember if Illinois is one of those states where, if you win the lottery, they publish your name.
Oh yeah, exactly. So
Right.
yes. So yeah, that was my thing. It's like, oh, do we get a choice whether we get published or not? But then I remember I saw a news story where I want to give the politically correct name. It got this dispensary. Is that what it's called?
Oh, marijuana
The,
dispensary.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. They were giving out free marijuana for if you come get a shot. So they had like a day where you took the shot, and
Mm-hmm.
it. Hey, so people are trying to give
Do
as many incentive so so more people can go ahead and get vaccinated. We have a comment.
that's right.
Hello, Miss Kennedy. Thank you for joining us. She said blessings. Uh,
Ah, thank you.
thank you,
Blessings
thank
to
you.
you.
So I don't know your opinion if you for the vaccine or against the vaccine, but if you wanna win, go get
Go,
vaccinated.
go, go get vaccinated. Yeah,
Go
I
get
think I know
vaccinated.
it's such a touchy topic.
It is.
So but yeah, yeah, that's a good incentive.
That's a good incentive.
There's that new Delta strain, so they really are trying to get people
Vaccinated.
vaccinated, especially young people. You know, a lot of these schools, like UIC announced it, but I think it's for, I think it might be for all their campuses, including U of I, where they're trying to mandate. It's a soft mandate of vaccines for students before they go to school.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you can opt. You can opt out though. That's
So
why
I
I
think
say
it's
soft.
you can opt out.
Yeah, I think if you have medical conditions, if you have, there's like a lot of reasons. So what they're asking though is, that's why I said soft, because it's not like hardcore. But
Mhm.
what they're asking for is like, if you're not, that's the hard part. This is the hard part. If you're not vaccinated, they want you wearing a mask. So
And Chicago Public School is gonna go back to full schools.
mm,
But obviously some people can get the exemption, but then it has to be medically documented. So we don't know what school is gonna look like. I mean, I'm ready for things to go back to normal. I am.
mm-hmm.
I'm so ready.
I am
Uh,
too.
so okay, yeah. So that was not my wealth segment, even though you could potentially get wealthy
Right, right.
if you get vaccinated.
So what happens if we don't see you in about 2 weeks? We know you won $1 million.
You're still gonna see me because I have to keep it low.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
right.
I have to keep like don't you know when you win the lottery, you don't change things overnight. So people
That's
don't know your business
that's true. That's true.
like that.
You gotta be smooth with it.
You gotta be smooth with it.
Right.
Like, yeah. No, I'm yeah. Anyway, y'all, we got this is the last year in June. So whether we are moms or business owners, maybe career oriented, okay, we have to look into what's next. Like how are we going to organize our lives so that we can ensure that we thrive, like we become successful in the remaining 6 months left. And then so what I've been doing is I've been doing maybe like 10-12 minutes, kind of like a live segment. I call it the winner map. So map is an acronym for motivate, activate, and protect. I feel like it was important to share resources that way because there's so many resources out there that most of us do not know of. And then so a lot of time, I mean, if we know exactly what we're looking for, then we can do like a Google search or a YouTube search. But sometimes we don't even know what we're looking for.
Right.
Okay, sometimes you need someone to tell you this is what's out there that we can take advantage of. And then so the goal of the winner map is to give a little bit of motivation and go to the M, like a little like activation to help us activate our dreams, to help us activate our goals, to help us put actions behind our ideas. And I'm honest to say that as a mom and as an entrepreneur, sometimes life gets overwhelming. And then so it certainly is beneficial to all of us to have a system in place to help us in the year successfully so that days doesn't just go by and we end up seeing December 31st and we're like, what?
Right. No, you're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the P is we got to protect. And then so kind of like how do we protect our peace of mind and how do we protect our time and how do we protect our current resources? And then so my goal is to just come on live in the afternoons, kind of as I become aware of maybe a resource that I think might be beneficial to either a mom or to either an entrepreneur. I want to share that with you all. So basically, I'm encouraging you to catch those lives, share them, uh with people that you think it may be helpful to. So one resource that I always share is Lens Richardson program, where she has so many resources in regards to either you being an entrepreneur, either you trying to learn ways to protect your business in regards to trademarks and copyrights, or even if you want to know how to save when it comes to your taxes by legally hiring your kids and know how to actually document that, so that we don't just end up thinking that we're saving money and we're hiring our kids, but we are not doing it right. So that's the one resource that I'm gonna share with you all. Thank you, Miss Kennedy, for your support. She's laughing. I think that's when we were talking about the lottery. Right. She was laughing with that. And then she's saying, teach. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then she's saying, how do we protect our peace? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Okay, I wasn't talking about how today, so I'm gonna be doing a lot of lives about that. But me personally, how I've been protecting my peace is by becoming best friend with the word no. I mean, I
Mm.
am like we becoming best friends right now, and I'm honest to say that I'm the first to say like, okay, yes, I'm a people pleaser. Yes, I am. Even in school, I used to get the good grades. Every teacher was my friend. I am a self-proclaimed teacher's pet. Okay, I'm gonna say it out there, but that also means that sometimes you want people to like you, and then so you always like saying yes to things, and then
Mhm.
I'm becoming to say, okay, this is not helping me, because anytime I say yes to something that I end up trying to remove myself from, now it's a lot of headache.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know in case you should have just said no from the beginning, but then
Right.
sometimes you kind of like intimidated to say no because you don't want to hurt people's feeling. You always
Mhm.
want people to think that, oh, you always there to help them. No, I'm becoming best friend with the word no. So that's how I'm protecting my peace right now. Am I perfect at it? Not yet, but then I am getting there. But that was I was gonna talk about. But then if that if that help you, try it. Start saying no to little things. And even Oprah had an
Mhm.
interview. She said that that was one of her biggest thing too. People knowing that she has money and everybody was coming and asking for stuff, and she want everybody to like her, and to think that she's such an amazing person, and she would say yes to everybody. And then she had
Yeah.
to learn how to say no. So that's my thing on protecting my peace of mind now, is start saying no. Yeah, she said me too. Yeah, there's a lot of people who may feel guilty. Some you feel guilty saying no to people
No,
because
I
yeah,
I I agree with you. I'm very much a people pleaser, and I need to get to practicing to say no, right? Because
yeah.
I'm like I'll say yes, and then be mad when I have to do
Yeah, you told you to say yes. So why are you mad at people for when you're the one who says yes?
exactly, and I'm the only one to blame, right? Because people,
Exactly.
so just getting to that place where I'm just like,
Mhm.
but then you do feel bad, but then it's just a constant. But I identify with you 150%. I have
Yeah.
That's a huge problem I have that I'm dealing with. Yeah.
But then, like, the other side to it is that we are thinking, oh, we're so nice, but in essence, isn't that selfish though? Because you're thinking that you somebody's answer. You're thinking that,
Hmm.
oh, if you say no, then this person whole life depend on you. Isn't that self-centered in
Mm.
essence?
That's a good way to look at it. I didn't even
You
think
know?
about that. Like, yeah, because you think like, oh, what are they gonna do? Let me just go ahead and
Yeah.
help them. You
Yeah.
know. Ooh,
And
Renee.
then we don't even give people the option to fly on their own because we're always there to help them fly. And so now we like enabling it. That's the word, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Oh, look at me doing therapy right now.
Look
No.
at you you giving me words, giving me therapy right now. I'm thinking about it. You're right though, because that's how I
Mhm.
feel a lot of times too. Like, um, and it puts me in a bind, especially like with my work. Sometimes I'll have people call me last minute, and it's like, I feel bad because I like I know what to do for them, but at the same time, I'm going to be putting myself out to be helped. But then I'm like, why? And I know I'm a procrastinator,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but how can you go to? But I try to do that like with my own stuff. I try not to take my procrastination and put my burden on somebody else. So, like,
Yeah.
how do you go to somebody last minute with a huge problem, like a legal problem, and it's like a lot of places won't even take you, or they'll try, and then on top of that, you don't want to pay. Like a lot of like if you go to a firm,
Yeah.
and say I have this problem and I need to go to court next week, they'll charge you so much money. Yeah, that's in my work life. That's I mean in life in general, but especially like you said, like I feel really bad because I'm like, oh, what are you gonna do? Let me help you out. But then it puts a lot of work and burden on myself.
Yes. So, Kennedy, I keep calling you Kennedy, but because that's your last name. But if Mary says, yeah, she agree. Yeah, yeah, right. When I could have said no, Sage. Uh, and then she said, instead of help you hinder. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Instead of
yeah.
helping you hinder. Uh, Mary, I do obviously I know you in the circle with Walk Truth. And then so if you have anything that you would like to promote, feel free to put it in the comment, and I would love to give you a shout out as you've been participating and commenting. So I appreciate that. And my thing is, I always like to pay it forward. So whatever you want to promote right now, feel free to type it in the comment. I try to go to your page to see exactly what you do, but then feel free to put in the comment. Go ahead and support Mary Kennedy, and she will be posting what she does. And this is a little hand on my shoulder. Come out of nowhere. This is my boo, y'all.
Yeah.
His
Hi,
wisdom. He is my
wisdom.
son. He came to my live and conversation. You wanna say hi to the people?
Hi.
Hi,
Okay.
wisdom.
So good night, people. I think we've been just
Bye.
chatting and talking about self care, and I feel like this was a great conversation.
Yeah.
So if you are an entrepreneur, you need more tools to run your business like a business, not just saying that you are a business, but in doing things every kind of way. Remember to go to thrivewithlane.com, where you can have a lot of classes and a lot of different information that can help you get on and have a thriving business. So as you can see, she has so many classes. She's even teaching about the stock market and all of that. So it isn't affiliate link.
You froze, Renee.
Additional
You
costs to you. So remember, visit thrivewithlane.com so that you can get on the thriving in your business. Okay, let me see if Mary put anything. No, she did not. But yeah, so thank
we could feature her next week too. If we see something later, we can always in the beginning on the top of our segment next week we can shout out her business.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, I would love to shout you out. And to those of you watching, I appreciate you. Share, comment, let us know. I mean, we have an attorney here, y'all. So if you have any legal question, immigration questions, things that you want to have some info, some clarity to, feel free to comment, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to answer that for you in another segment. And what do you call it? And then the website is thrivewithlane.com. It's also in the description for more resources to help you run your business as a business. Thank you all for joining. That's it for today. I had fun. This was a great conversation. We'll look forward to be back next Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. My name is Daphnée René Antoine, and with my lovely co-host
Daphnée Camilien.
Daphnée Camilien. I fix your name. I
Yeah,
don't know.
thank you.
Yeah, I was doing something else. So, but then I figure it out. So yes, that's it for tonight, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Say bye
Bye.
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 Grace is gonna be so jealous. Like,
Yep.
you have wisdom on. Bye, y'all. Have a good night. And
Bye.
remember to rise, shine, thrive. See you all next week
Good
at
night.
8:30.
Good
Good
night.
night.